Hi everyone, I'm here today with Jean. This is Jean.
Hello.
I'm sure that you know who she is. If not, you should, and I'll leave links to her channel in the description box down below. Today, Jean and I decided to have a sit down and a chat about all Bookish things 2018. So our reading and our writing, things we wanted to achieve, how many books we've read. We also talk about libraries.
What we are looking forward to coming out next year.
Yeah, and any reading goals we've got for the rest of 2018 as well. And we're also going to play a game. Well, we're filming this after we've recorded the rest, and we had great fun playing this game.
It was brilliant.
Yeah, so if you want to have a giggle, then keep on listening. This is actually an episode of Books with Jen, which is my podcast. So you can continue listening to this on YouTube, that's fine, and our faces will go away and it'll just be an image and you can just listen. You can shove your computer somewhere or your phone while you do other things around the house, or if you want to download the episode to listen to while you're out and about, you can go to my website, I'll link down below, or search for Books with Jen on the podcast app, on Stitcher, SoundCloud, all of the usual places. So that's everything. Yeah, we hope that you like this bookish chat. Let us know how you are.
And don't forget to play along with the game.
Oh yeah, no, please
It's so
do.
much fun.
Play along. Okay, thanks Jean. Thanks.
Bye.
Hi Jean. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm excited to see you.
I know.
You've been away on your honeymoon for ages.
I know. Well, I was saying to you, it feels really weird recording again because I pre-recorded loads of stuff before I went away. And I feel like I've forgotten how to do it. This is like our fourth intro because we just sounded like we didn't know each other and we'd never met.
Like weird robot people.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
I am a person.
Well, normally on this podcast, I interview authors and we have all publishers and we have a chat about the industry. And I thought we'd just have a casual one today, me and Jean, and we can talk about our year in review.
Yeah.
So I asked on Instagram if there are any things that people wanted us to talk about. And we're also going to play a game in a bit, which I'm very excited about too. I'm going to play a game. So I'm looking at the list that people asked us about. I think this one's quite nice and also I think really appropriate for this time of year. Your thoughts on rereading. And also maybe this can tie in, people also asked us to talk about public libraries. And so I used to reread all the time when I was younger. I don't do it as much anymore because I panic thinking there are all these new things that I should be reading. There were air quotes there that you couldn't see. I like rereading on audio.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. And
it's funny you say that about like tying into public libraries because I still reread, but yeah, definitely not as much as I did when I was a kid. And one of the things I think when I was a kid, I think like I've been thinking about this a lot recently. Like we're obviously in quite this privileged position. Not only do we like have our own incomes now to spend on books, but like we also get sent a lot of free books.
Yeah.
Whereas like when I was a kid, most of what I read was from the library, and I'd quite often take out the same books over and over and over again and just reread them. I mean, I would read new books too, but I must like if I could have ever seen my record, it would have probably been like Jean has borrowed Vlad the Drac 50 times.
Oh yeah. No, I used to take out. Okay, so what I The Indian in the Cupboard by Linda Reed Banks.
I never read that one, but I remember.
My Best Fiend by Sheila Lavelle, which was about a girl called Charlie who's a tomboy and her best friend was called Angela who's blonde and beautiful, and Angela always played pranks on Charlie, or things would happen and it would just go wrong and Charlie would be always the one who got in trouble. And there was a whole series of those. I think they were kind of like young Georgia Nicholson books in a way. So there was, what else did I take out? Oh yeah, When Hitler Stopping Rabbit, all the famous 5 books. I did own a few of those, but I used to take them out on audio from the library, and they had VHS of the old ones before the new ones came out with Jemima Ruper. She was my first crush. She played George in the 90s TV version.
It's the 90s one that I've seen, and there's a little theme tune and they go, "We are the famous 5 and Timmy the dog too."
No, I just realised what I was thinking was The Animals of Father Wood. So
but that also might not be the tune because I am tone deaf, but it was something like that because my granny used to have VHSs of it.
No, there was no like song. There was music, but there was no song. So maybe you've seen maybe it's the older version that you've seen.
I used to take out Famous 5 from the library as well. I loved the Famous 5.
I think it was comforting to take out stuff that I already knew, but also I think I felt a little bit overwhelmed with everything that I could read. So I went back to things that I found quite comforting. But every Saturday I would go to the library and we'd be there for hours. Yeah. And I'd take out as many things as possible. And even when I was allowed into the adult section of the library, I still just went into the kids section.
There's such a nice atmosphere in the kids section of the library. At least there wasn't mine. It had like little toys. It was all set up really nicely. It like felt like a little play area almost.
No, we didn't have any toys. I don't remember having toys.
But I don't know if this is like, don't do this probably, but it didn't seem like a big deal at the time. Our local library when I was a kid, and we lived in our old flat, was next to the supermarket.
Yeah.
So my parents would put me in the library while they went to the supermarket.
Oh, your parents were those parents, huh?
No, but like, I was not like, they wouldn't say like, oh, like, take care of my child. There was like other unaccompanied, it was just like, almost
How
like...
old were you though?
Under 10?
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Like,
Like, I just mean like when
English.
No, it's fine. It's just when I worked as a bookseller, there was a Tesco next to us, and people would leave their toddlers in. And I'm just like, I'm not a childminder.
Yeah, it's not a public space either.
No, that's true.
It's a bit weird.
Exactly. No, libraries are different. And also, you were older and you're there reading. That's very different.
Yeah, no, I was quite happy. And then mum and dad would come in after once they got the shopping, and my dad would get his books.
Yeah.
He obviously, I would want to spend more time there than necessarily he would. He would just get his books and leave, whereas I would be like, oh my god,
all of the choices.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also wrote at my library. Every Thursday I would go, and my mum would pay 20 pence, and I was allowed to be there for like an hour and a half, I think it was, and they'd give us a writing exercise and a cup of diluted orange squash, and then we would read our stuff out to each other, and I think I was about 8 or 9 when I did that.
That's one of the wonderful things about libraries, is they're not just free bookshops, like they're community spaces, and they do lots of other things as well, and they're places for people to go.
I think especially now as well, like with computers and everything, people don't have them at home. Also, I know that our local library helps people fill out like CVs and job applications,
or like universal credit stuff. I know people have been using their libraries to do that.
Yeah.
Because I recently went on a demonstration in London for the Save Our Libraries campaign, and there was some good speakers at the end when we got to Parliament, sort of just talking about like the benefits of libraries. It was also for museums. It was sort of about like public cultural institutions, and apparently they're all like, I think there's like Black History archives in London, some sort of like museum/library place, and they're like about potentially to lose their funding, and then they'll close down, and it's like the only place like that in England as far as I know. So
no, it's important. And also some people have spoken to me, because I think there's some confusion about what libraries do for authors as well, but libraries pay authors. In the UK, I think, let me try and get this right, because I get my PLR once a year. So PLR is your public lending rights,
okay.
I think that's the right acronym. PLR is my public lending rights, and every year I get a payment from libraries. So I receive, it's about 7 pence every time someone takes out my book, which is great. And then there's a cap on that. An author can earn up to £6,000. Okay.
So like if you're J.K. Rowling,
exactly, or Neil Gaiman or whatever, then it caps out and it stops. Fair. But that's how much you get, and it's so it is great, and it does help authors too.
And that's like why, if your library doesn't have a book that you want, then you should ask them to order it in, because you're supporting the author still. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, please, definitely do that. Get all your libraries to make sure they have all of Jen's books. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, do that. from my mouth to your ears. Thank you. That's why I've got her here, you know. Promotion. Okay, so let's go back to rereading then. So you don't reread as much as you used to now? No, but I still do reread. Yeah. I just don't. I think, like you say, there's always so much more that you want to read. But I would, between like 5 and 10 books a year I read are probably rereads. Are there ones that you go to again and again and again? Yeah. They're usually books I reread regularly, and like every now and then a new book will enter my rereading like sphere. Circle. Yeah, my sphere of rereading. So recently I became obsessed with an author, and I just downloaded the audiobook of Daughters of the Forest, which is a book I read for the first time this year, but I'm like, I want the audiobook because I know I already feel like rereading it. So I like having the audiobooks because then you can easily just switch them on. And the one thing about rereading is that sometimes I don't even finish my reread if I'm listening to an audiobook. It's a bit like I'll listen to half a Harry Potter book because it's just a bit comforting, it's familiar, and it's you not just want to step into that world. I don't need to know the ending again. It's just it's more about like almost like a safe space, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. I'm listening to The Goblet of Fire again on audiobook at the moment. Yeah. And I think especially that one for this time of year with all the Yule Ball stuff, and I'm like, this is nice. This is nice. Yeah, so for rereading for me, Harry Potter audiobooks, I love rereading his Dark Materials, and every time I reread those, I get something new from those.
what's a book you would really want to reread that you've only read once?
Well, Daughter of the Forest.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like, I'm the thing is, it's funny because this author, Juliet Marilli, started reading her this year. I'm on my 6th book by her, and she has about 20 books currently published. But I'm actually, at the moment, after this book, feeling more drawn to going back and rereading one of the ones I've already read than starting a new one. I don't know what that is. I can't quite explain that feeling, but maybe it's like you're trying to draw out the experience or something, but I really want to either, like, at the end of this year or beginning of next year, listen to that book again.
Okay. Well, also, I think, isn't it, you pride yourself on your knowledge of fandom when you love something like that.
That's
so,
true.
like, I want to know all of the things so that I can speak knowledgeably on this topic.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, because also when you love something, I don't know if this is just me, I don't want to speak for you, but I forget specific details. I'm just like, you must read it, it's so good. And I find it hard to articulate why I think it's so good because I'm just left with this warmth.
Yeah. No, totally. The more you read it, like, the more those details stick with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I always find when I reread Terry Pratchett books, which is another thing I do quite often on audiobook, because they're quite comical books, there's always like a joke or a pun that I didn't notice the first time, and I get to laugh out loud and what a hilarious man.
Okay, so we've touched on Juliet Marilli for you.
Yeah, that's my year in reading.
Exactly, I was going to say, so let's move on to our year in reading. How's this year gone for you? You said you read nearly 100 books this year.
Yes, I have read 98 books, and high five. And no problem with, like, get to 100. I'm already in the middle of a few, and obviously it's only November just now.
Yeah.
I haven't read 100 books in a year since I was a kid, though.
Yeah.
I think over the past, since I started doing Bookshop, I definitely started reading more again. But I think the most I've read in the past few years is like 80 books. And it's always been somewhere between like 50 and 80, I'd say, over the past few years as an adult. So this is like the most I've read in a long time. And I think part of it is because I got really, really back into like historical high fantasy. And I just find them such compulsive reads. Like it's part of it's as well like a desire for escapism, and it is pure escapism. So I've been reading loads of like high fantasy books, but particularly by female authors, because I want female lead characters. Yeah. And that's like more common in high fantasy written by women. So I've been reading a lot of that, and I think that's one of the reasons I've read a lot more as well.
Oh, good, just to touch on that while we're talking about that, because we were asked about female friendships in literature. Are there more female friendships in the high fantasy that you're reading because they're written by women, or not so much?
No, actually, I think they're mainly like sort of romances.
Okay.
And all heterosexual, because this has been one of my issues.
Okay.
I've been trying to find more like queer women relationships in high fantasy, and I found a couple of books, but it's definitely less so than heterosexual romances. I'm trying to think, is there any? I mean, sometimes, but like some of the books definitely have, the ones that have got more details, like some of the Juliet Marilli ones, because I'll just use her as my example. Obviously there's a lot of world building, there's lots of relationships with different people in the community and their families and stuff, so there's definitely some positive female relationships there for sure, but I wouldn't say they're ever the focus of the story. The focus is usually a romance between a man and a woman.
I'm often asked for recommendations of books with female friendships, and I struggle a lot. There's Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney, but that's quite a toxic friendship. I mean, it is believable in the sense that I was like, yeah, okay, we've all had relationships like this, but I wouldn't say it's a fair representation of female friendships as a whole. Yeah. And also the relationship in question, actually, they also used to date, so it is also a bit
more complicated.
Yeah, it's more complicated. And Fran over at Fran Nerd, I know, has done a book on friendship, but that's a non-fiction book about friendship. My Best Fiend, which I mentioned before, I read when I was younger, but also that was quite a toxic friendship. I suppose the problem is also I don't read many happy books in general. Yeah. I read quite dark, twisted things a lot of the time, and if a relationship is brilliant, then you need there's always a problem, isn't there? Like in whatever kind of thing you're reading, and if the focus is friendship, then there's going to be an issue with the friendship that they have to sort out. Yeah. But no, I still am stumped.
Underrepresented.
Oh no, absolutely, it absolutely is. And no, so I think we're going to have to come back to you on that. And if you guys have any recommendations for
yes, please,
books on female friendships, because
positive ones.
Yeah, positive ones.
Because my female friendships are so important to me, and I feel like I don't really care about them.
No,
I didn't mean you.
There's Eleanor Ferrante, my best friend,
but I haven't read
those.
Brilliant Friend.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, my brilliant friend. I don't really have any urge to read that one so much.
I mean, Harry Potter is still for a younger audience, but it's like you need that kind, like, in my head, if I'm thinking I want a fantasy book, I need like something with that dynamic of like 3 really good friends, but like quite often there's more men than there are women. Like, where's like the 3 female friends saving the world?
Yeah, where is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Paper Girls.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Graphic novel.
Yeah. I've read that.
Okay, so you have read nearly 100 books this year.
Yeah, how many have you read?
I have read probably 400, I think. But I haven't catalogued them all because I couldn't, because most of it's for prize reading.
Yeah,
No, I do not normally read for
Okay, yeah, you read for judging prizes as well.
And also, it's different because I haven't finished all of those books.
Yeah.
Either. I finished the majority of them, but with prize judging, if you're really hating something and it's not working for you, then you stop.
Yeah.
And it might be that perhaps another judge will love it, and in which case it'll be brought back to your attention and I have to revisit it and finish it, all the other judges. So that's kind of how that works. But so actually the specific figure of how many books I've read in their entirety, I don't know. But it's hundreds.
Yeah.
Hundreds. The one that I've loved the most this year is A Place for Us by Fatemeh Farheen Mirza, which I've spoken about so much. I'm sorry. I'm not going to apologise if we're talking about it again. And I recorded a podcast with Fatemeh, which you can go and listen to if you would like to. She is a gem. And it's a family saga. And it's just intricate and beautiful. Lots of references to The Lion King as well. If you like The Lion King, then you should read that. So that has been one of my favourites. Actually, I think I'm going to quickly go to my Goodreads.
Okay.
And see.
Tell me a book you've read this year that you think I should read that I haven't already.
Have you read A Place for Us?
Nope.
Okay, you should.
But a different one, just to like shake things up.
Hang on, I'm going to go to my Goodreads and I'll tell you. Because obviously when we talk about books that we've read, I immediately forget everything that I have ever read.
Because recently I read, you haven't read Convenience Store Women, have you?
I'm going to,
But you will like it. Like, I'm 100% sure that you will like it. I love that book.
I am reviewing it for Toast in January, so I am absolutely reading it. Have you read When Hitler Stole Pink Rabbit?
No.
Then you need to read that too.
And that's like a classic as well, isn't
it? It is.
Yeah.
Get on that, Jean. And it's really short. And it's middle grade, so it's great. Okay, let's see. Books that I've read. Okay, I have really loved recently Names for the Sea by Sarah Moss. Okay. It's about her time in Iceland. I read it when I was in Japan, which was really lovely because she's talking about feeling foreign in a place and how you're worried about accidentally offending people by being that clumsy foreigner. Yep. And obviously that's how, I was worried about offending people. I kept on offending people by holding chopsticks incorrectly in Japan. And then they would correct me, and then I would say, no, I have to hold them like this, and then they would get really embarrassed because they'd realise thinking that they'd mortally offended me, and then it was just this whole thing. Because offending people, like in Japan, that's like a terrible thing to do. So, and I just felt bad because they felt so bad. I was like, oh my god, this is like huge summer dance. Oh dear. All right. Okay, I'm scrolling through books that I have listed on Goodreads. Have you read The Restless Girls yet?
No, but
you will love that.
Okay, I'm excited for that.
If you don't know what that is a beautiful retelling of the 12 Dancing Princesses fairy tale.
I also think you might like Salvage the Bones by Jasmine Ward.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. It's the only Jasmine Ward I've read yet. Did you read Sing on Buried Sin?
Yeah, I did.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I did.
So this is the only one I've read by her, but like I know that one got a lot of press obviously because it was shortlisted this year for the Women's Prize. But Salvage the Bones is really good. It's in the lead up to Hurricane Katrina, and it's in Mississippi, and it follows this young girl who's just realised that she's pregnant. It's very good. It's just like in a few days of their family's life in that build up to
cool. Yeah, I would like to read more of hers because I felt that as much as I did like Sing Unburied Sing, it's very much derivative of Toni Morrison.
Okay.
Deliberately so, but I want to know more of what she is like as herself. So, I would like to read that. Standout ones for me were Educated by Tara Westover. I didn't really understand the hype for motherhood by Sheila Heti. I found it very naive. there was this one bit, because she's talking about motherhood, and she says how she envies queer people.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to explain themselves for not having children, and how she wishes that were the case for her. And I'm like, missing the point here, I think.
They have to explain why they do want children.
Yeah, exactly.
Not even that, why they should be allowed to have them.
Exactly.
I think it's worse.
So that kind of tarred my reading of that. I loved England Poems from a School, which is an anthology of poetry by children who are immigrants or refugees, and they are Oxford Spies Academy, and Kate Clancy is like their workshop teacher, and she's encouraged them to express themselves through poetry, and it's so moving. I enjoyed Ghost Wall by Sarah Moss.
Yeah, everyone's been talking about that.
Yeah, it's really good.
I think you'd like Nevermore as well, and I know
I didn't like it.
Oh, did you not?
No.
I felt like it was in the kind of realm of middle grade that you like.
No, I've just found it. I got very frustrated by the Harry Potter references in it, and I found Jupiter North a cross between Albus Dumbledore and Gilderoy Lockhart, because he's, fabulous and eccentric, and then he's also won like the snazziest man award the past 4 years running. Like, it's all right, and I think I would have enjoyed it much more if I'd read it when I was younger, but I didn't understand the timeline or the purpose. You go to Hogwarts and they're at school, so you can skip over time because you're like, I know what you're doing. Yeah. You're going to class. But with Morrigan, who's living in a hotel, she's taken to this world called Nevermore. She's going to be doing entrance exams for the
Wondrous Society.
But she's not doing anything, and then there are, for days, and I found that lack of purpose really distressing.
I'll just say that I really enjoyed it.
I'm in the minority. Lots of people absolutely love it.
But that's fine. Not everybody can. Not all books can be loved by all.
No, exactly.
How's your writing going?
It's a very good question, Jean. So let's talk. Should we talk about our year of writing then for both of us?
Sure.
So at the beginning of this year, I wrote Franklin 3, which is coming out next year. I don't think I'm allowed to say what the title is yet, but Franklin and Luna go on another adventure. They get lost somewhere and they have to find their way back. And that was a lot of fun to do. And then I finished writing my full-length poetry collection, which is called The Girl Aquarium, and that's coming out in April, which is going to come around really soon, I think.
One of my most anticipated reads of 2019.
Thank you very much. So I finished writing that, and now I'm writing a novel, and it's interesting. It's interesting. I'm only at the very, very beginning of writing it. But it's set on an island, and it's very much about storytelling and fairy tales, and I'm so in it that I find it difficult to talk about. Yeah. But I am speaking, if anyone's interested, I am speaking about it over on Patreon, not the novel itself, because I don't want to talk about details yet, because things are changing, but how I feel about the writing process and how I am planning, crafting, and all of that stuff. So you can go and find out more about that over there. It's weird how up and down I feel about it. When I'm actually working on it, I'm like, yes, okay, I can make this work. If I leave it for too long, I think I'm never going to be able to go back to it. Yeah. It's so ridiculous.
It's a very new project though.
It is a very new project. Yeah, it is a very new project. But my editor likes what she's read, so that's good. So I'm going to keep on going and hopefully finish it next year, and then maybe it'll come out 2020. We'll see. We shall see. But tell me about your writing, Judy. You've been writing a novel.
Okay, yeah, but I'm not a real author.
Oh, shut up.
One of my goals though for this year, last year I found I was doing more creative writing again, just through my own volition. Because I think part of it's, when so much of your life is trying to write academic writing for university, and I'm doing a PhD just now. It's hard to also then do get your mindset into the. So I'd fallen out of the habit basically. Yes. Got back into the habit last year. Then this year I was one of my goals was to keep writing more. So at the beginning of the year I was trying to write some little short stories, and then I was trying to work on this myth retelling that I'd started writing a while ago, and then sort of mid-year I was do you know what, I want to start a new project from the beginning, and I wanted to challenge myself to write it from chapter 1, page 1, first sentence to the end. Yeah, exactly. Completely linearly, which is not what I usually do. It's funny because I feel when I get asked questions on the internet, people seem to think I'm super organized, but my brain is not an organized place. And I feel whether I am writing academic stuff or writing fiction, I am trying to make jigsaw piece puzzles, and then I have to fit them all together at the end. I'm not a linear writer, but I have to say, I've been really enjoying it. I think it's working really well, writing, like, challenge myself to do that, and I'm really glad. And then sometimes I think, I want this to happen at this point in the book, but I'm like, but I'm not going to write it down. I'll maybe make a note of it. I'm still just...
I'll always make a note, because I always think, I'll remember.
Yeah. But, like, I won't try and write it in another document and start doing all of that. I'll sort of, like, I'm writing sentence by sentence, so chapter by chapter. So I've written the first 9 chapters. I've just started chapter 10, and I've got 18,000 words, and it's a high fantasy novel with a queer romance between 2 women, and hopefully some good friendships. I mean, I feel like the thing is, like, the 2 characters that are going to end up in a romantic relationship start off as friends. It's like, they meet and they're friends, and then... But she does have female friends and male friends as well, so... And it's got dragons.
Obviously. I mean, I would be very disappointed if it didn't.
It's got dragons and universities, and it's set in a world where the monarchy was overthrown a century ago, and now they have a democratic parliament. And it's like in a sort of historical fantasy world.
That sounds really good. I'm excited, but I think I'm excited for the story, but more excited that you're excited, and that you're writing, and that's really cool. I
think it's like it's just a nice thing to be doing. I almost feel like I'm reading it because I'm writing it linearly. I'm just writing a fantasy novel that I know I would like, and getting to follow the story as it goes. So it's fun. It's good. It's good for your little grey cells. Keep up the practice.
Absolutely. All about practice. All about, not necessarily writing every day, but just the habit of writing. Should we play a game? Okay, right, we're going to play a board game, but it's one that you'll be able to listen to. It's not like we're just going to play and you're going to hear us moving pieces around and you're just not going to know what's going on.
You can play along with us.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, you can play along with us. So this part of the podcast is very kindly sponsored by Oxford Games. I've been doing some work with them over on YouTube. They're a fantastic company. They're a daughter and mother-run company in Oxford. And I first came across them when I did a podcast with them a year ago called Ex Libris Live, which is a live recording podcast of one of their board games called Ex Libris, the game of first lines and last words, which I played with a group of authors, and we had to write a bluffed first line of a book after having the blurb read to us, and then the game master would have to guess which line was the right line, because the correct one would be shuffled in with all of our fake answers, and it was so much fun. So they have a board game of that you can buy, and they also have other book related board games. So the one that we're going to play now is called Flummoxed. I'm going to reach for it. Okay, Flummoxed, the foreign language bluffers game, and in this it's a bit like Ex Libris, where we have to write not a fake first line, but we're writing a fake definition for a word. So you need to play this really with more than 2 people. So we're going to be playing it slightly differently. We're each going to have a word that's been given to us on one of the cards inside the game. And it's in a foreign language, and then it says what the actual definition is. So we're going to take our word and write down that word and the actual definition. And then we're each going to make up 2 fake definitions for the word we have, and then we're going to read the 3 definitions out to the other person, and they have to guess which one is the right one.
Are we going to keep score?
Yeah. How many rounds should we do? Should we do 3 rounds?
3 each?
Best of 3?
Yeah. I played this recently actually with a group of people, and it was a lot of fun. It's so much fun because there's such a range of languages, from like languages you wouldn't necessarily be surprised to see to like super obscure fictional languages, and all of the words are really random. It's great.
And what I like about games like this is that you can either be really serious, or you can play around and make up funny definitions or funny first lines, and then people are thrown as to what actually is the right
well
one.
Sometimes the actual definitions of the words do seem a bit funny, so
okay, so we're going to do this. We're going to scribble down our lines, and we're going to come back to you and read them out. I'm feeling quite competitive. Also, if you would like to purchase any of these Bookish games, you can go to the Oxford Games website, which is oxfordgames.co.uk, and if you enter the code GEN20, that's 20 in numbers, not written out, GEN20, all in capitals, then you can get 20% off anything.
Amazing.
Do you know I've actually been using the code myself to my Christmas presents. I've got a copy of Flummoxed, the game that we're going to be playing, for my brother, and one for my agent as well. Amazing. Charlie, if you're listening to this, you're getting a board game for Christmas. Okay, so we're going to go scribble down and play, and we'll come back to read them out to you all. We'll be back. Okay, we're back. Sorry, I have a mouthful of crisps, I feel. Not that there's anything wrong with that. This is really fun. It's really, really fun, and you can get very silly with it. And with big groups of people, I think it could be even more fun.
Yeah.
So we've each picked a card, and each card is for one language. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words on that card. So we've each picked one word that we like on that card. And we've written 2 fake definitions and the real definition. And the other person has to guess. Mm-hmm. So I tell you what, I'm going to give you like an easiest-ish one to start with. In that it's not that silly. But I quite liked it. So this is a Korean one. Mm-hmm. I'm going to read you what it says about Korean on the back. It says, modern Korean derives from the ancient Korean Han dialect and is spoken by 50 to 60 million people in North and South Korea and in colonies in China and Japan. Until the 19th century, Chinese was the main language of literature in Korea, and little was written in Korean until the novel came into favour in the 20th century. Knowledge, see? Learning things too. Okay, so Jean. The word is chip.
Chip?
In Korean.
Okay.
Is that a house, a cat, or a grandparent? A chip.
A grandparent.
No, Jean. It's
house.
Not. It is a house.
House.
I feel like I'm going to guess again. It's a house. It is a house.
I don't get the point, that's fine. But my house, I was torn between house and grandfather.
So I get the point for that one.
Okay.
I made you guess the wrong one. Oh, I feel quite sly. Okay, all right, you'll go.
Okay.
You'll go.
First up, I have Estonian.
Oh, Estonian.
So, Estonian is the official language of Estonia.
Yay!
Where it's spoken by about 1 million people. In addition, there are many thousands of emigre speakers in part of Russia, Western Europe, and North America. The language comprises 2 markedly different dialects, which come close to being mutually unintelligible. The modern literary standard is based on the Tallinn dialect. Centuries of German influence are reflected in the vocabulary of Estonia.
Excellent. Okay, so what word do you have for me?
Lamatuli.
Lamatuli. Okay.
Which could mean fox hide, sea of flames, or the specific colour of leaves on the trees just before they fall.
The third one.
That would be wrong.
Ah, damn!
It is sea of flames.
Sea of flames. I like that. It's very dramatic, isn't it? Sea of flames.
It's a great word.
Okay, so 1 point for Jean. So 1 each. All right. So I really like this one. Okay. So in this game, there isn't just languages that we know.
Yeah.
But there are also some made up languages, and there's also slang stuff. So this one is wartime English.
Okay.
So I love. So it says wartime English, published by R.W. Zandrolt in 1957. It's a record of linguistic usage in Britain during the Second World War. Many English words were given different and specific meanings during this period. All right, Jean. So the word is fruit machine. Fruit machine. So does fruit machine mean a beautiful woman who works on site, a complicated piece of machinery, or an eccentric general?
A beautiful woman.
No.
An eccentric general.
No, it's a complicated piece of machinery. I just decided to make it something quite
that seemed
not like that.
Yeah, that seemed too close was my logic. You know?
See, you can bluff. This is the thing, because I've seen some people say that they might be quite intimidated by these games. But it's not about knowing what the meanings are. It's about pretending.
Yeah.
So much fun. Okay, right. What is my second one?
Well, I went for an artificial language next.
Ooh, what'd you get?
Esperanto.
Nice.
Esperanto was created in 1887 by a Polish occultist, Dr. L.L. Zamenhof, with the intention of it becoming the international second language. Although not used that widely, Esperanto is probably one of the most successful of the artificial international languages and is spoken by an estimated 100,000 people. Some 30,000 books have been published in Esperanto to date.
Nice. Okay.
So I have gone for Piso.
Piso.
Which could mean fireworks, sock, or pea. Sorry.
Fireworks. Sorry, what was the middle one?
Sock.
Or pea.
Mm-hmm.
Fireworks.
No! Pea!
I didn't go for pea because I thought that was too close.
We did the same thing.
We did the same thing. We're tripping ourselves up. Okay, right. So my last one is Icelandic for Eugene.
Ooh.
So Icelandic says... Sorry, Old Icelandic. Old Icelandic, also known as Old Norse, is the classical North Germanic language of Iceland from 1150 to 1350, in which are written the Norse sagas. Okay, so the word is brunamikil. Brunamikil.
I like it already.
Does this mean, brunamikil, that you are bald, that you have hairy legs, or that you have bushy eyebrows?
That you have bushy eyebrows.
Ah, you got it right! Oh no, I think Dean's gonna win. Oh dear, you're in the lead. Okay, all right. If I don't get
a chance to tie.
I do. All right. What is
You
it?
will never guess what I've gone for. Scots.
Did you?
My native is not really my, but Scots is a language of lowland Scotland, which is where I'm from. The area lying to the north, east, and south of the Scottish Highlands.
Well, just
everywhere apart from the Scottish Highlands.
Yes.
If for an extra fact, because Scottish Gaelic is what they spoke in the Highlands.
There you go.
Whether Scots should be regarded as a distinct language as opposed to a regional dialect of English has been questioned and discussed since the 16th century to the present day. Interruption from Jean. It is a proper language. That's the answer to that bit. The Concise Scots Dictionary argues that given the linguistic distinctiveness of Scots, its individual history, its own remarkable literature, and the fact that since the 16th century Scots has adopted the nation's name, Scots should be indeed regarded as a rich and living language.
Well, see, they agree with you, so that's all right.
Well, the Scots Dictionary agrees with me.
Yeah.
Which isn't that surprising. Anyway, it's funny because the first video we ever filmed together
was
me getting you to guess Scots words.
And me getting you to guess Geordie words.
Yep. Okay, so this one wasn't in that video. And it's Massimore, which can mean dungeon of a castle, the traditional shirt worn with a kilt, or a sheep pen.
A sheep pen?
No, dungeon of a castle.
No, Jean won! Oh... Well done, Jean. Well done. Fair enough. That was fun.
Queen of Flummoxed.
Yeah. Okay. No, we'll have another game later. And I'll try and beat you.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, it's lots of fun. This one, as I said, is called Flummoxed. The full name of it is Flummoxed, the Foreign Language Bluffer's Guide. There's also Ex Libris, the game of first lines and last words, which is where you have to make up the first or last lines of a book when you're given the blurb. There's Anagram, the ingenious game of juggling words, so an anagram game. And there's also a book memory game, a comprehension game that I have been playing with Mr. M and my mother-in-law. It's harder than it looks, but it's so much fun. Also, I think it's really good for your brain.
Really?
I think so. When I was in Wigtown, at the book festival, Jean's just holding up the game. It's called Bookworm, the game of reading and remembering. Thank you, Jean. Where you read a paragraph from a book to someone and then you ask them 4 questions about it. And if they get one right, they can move forward along the board. And if they get one wrong, you can ask the other people who are playing and they can steal your points. When I was in Wigtown, we were talking to an author who'd written a book on the brain. And he said that if you want to give yourself a better chance of not getting Alzheimer's or dementia, you should do 3 things. You should learn a foreign language, you should learn how to play an instrument, and you should play board games that make you think. You don't have to be good at any of those things, but those are things that make your brain think in a different way, and they use different pathways. So if you have a stroke or if you get dementia, you can reroute your brain in different ways, but you can only reroute if those pathways are active. And to keep them active, you should do those things. And I do not know foreign languages. I should get on that.
I'm going to try harder ancient Greek.
Okay. Okay, New Year's resolutions, guys. New Year's resolutions. So you can go to oxfordgames.co.uk, and if you use the code GEN20, which is GEN20 in caps, then you can get 20% off everything, and they ship internationally. Go treat yourself. Thanks, Oxford Games, for sponsoring this part of the podcast. This was fun.
It was fun.
It was
Thanks
very,
for having
very
me.
fun. No, this is not the end of the podcast, Jean. I have a couple of questions left for you. We were doing our year in review. So, are there any books that you want to read by the end of the year?
Yeah, I did an end of year TBR. I can't really remember what was on it. No, I know there's a couple of books I'm definitely going to be reading because they're for book clubs.
Yeah.
So Home Fire by Camilla Shamsi and Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. I will definitely read because they're for my book clubs and I always do my book club books. Yeah, those are my top priorities.
Okay, I want to read The Bear and the Nightingale because I've had it on my winter TBR for forever. And I was unsure about it because I'd heard some negative things. And it had been so hugely popular and positive before that, which actually makes me slightly wary of reading it. But I have had lots and lots and lots of people telling me that they love it. So I think I'm going to pick that one up, see what I think of it.
Lauren read and enjoyed it recently because she borrowed it off me.
Oh, good. Okay. And then I also want to read... I need to read my Patreon book club picks, which are The Winter People by Jennifer Mahan and If They Come For Us by Fatima Asghar. Also, I'm going to read The Illumination of Ursula Flight by Anna Marie Crowhurst.
Just a robin.
She was looking out the window looking very confused. It's a robin. Okay. Yeah, The Illumination of Ursula Flight by Anna Marie Crowhurst. And I think those are the ones I want to get to soon. And most anticipated releases for next year, please.
Oh my God, so many.
I've been making a list for that video.
I don't know if I've got them on my phone though. I think they might be on my computer. Yes, Marlon James's new book, which is a fantasy book.
Is it, what's it called? Black Leopard, Red Wolf?
Something like that.
Red Leopard, Black Wolf? Can't remember. But is an epic fantasy set in Africa. And I'm so excited about that. Very much excited. There's also a book called, I think it's called My Name is a Monster, which is inspired by Frankenstein and is a post-apocalyptic book, which I'm very excited about. Ali Smith's Spring, which is coming out in the spring. Excited about that.
Jen's poetry book.
Oh, thank you.
So mine, you've read it.
Yeah, I have read it. That is true. What else? I have a list here too, but I don't want to give everything away. Let's see. Lanny, which is Max Porter's new book. Yes. And Chigozie Obioma has his new book out too, which I'm very excited about. I've got a proof copy of that downstairs. He is the author of The Fisherman. We love Chigozie. He's a babe.
Gingerbread by Helen Oyemi.
I'm very excited about that. Pan Mac don't have a proof copy sent to me.
Me neither. I'm very sad.
I'm sad.
But it's fine. When it does come, it'll be worth it.
Yeah, and I actually need to read White is for Witching by her.
Oh, I love White is for Witching.
Yeah, I've heard such good things.
Also, I've been hearing good things about The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon, which is
such good things about that.
And it's got dragons.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm there.
You're there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we could probably list lots of things, but let's stop. Let's save some for our most anticipated releases videos. Okay, so should we wrap it up? Let's wrap it up and go eat more Doritos because we haven't eaten enough already.
Goodness.
Oh my God, we've eaten so many. And we're going to go write this afternoon, aren't we? We're going to write. We've got Anna coming round, I think. Lovely Anna James, who wrote Pages & Co. Also have an episode of a podcast with her if you want to search for that. She's on deadline. But she was at the National Book Awards last night, so I'm not sure what time she's going to get here. But when she does, we're going to be having a group writing session, and it's going to be great. Okay, so we'll wrap this up. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment down below to let us know your favourite books of the year and your recommendations, books with female friendships, or you can tweet us. We'll also leave all the details in the show notes. And if you would like to purchase a Bookish board game, you can do so. You can use the code GEN20 to get 20% off. All details of that in the show notes too. Thank you very much, Jean.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.